minute to talk about something that I actually talk about a lot, but I realize I don't talk with you about a lot. Makes sense? And that is your inner being and your inner being attunement. So what that means and where this conversation is coming from is I have created a while ago an inner being attunement session. So I wanted to explain that to you a bit and tell you a bit more about my story with my inner being attunement and inner being in general. So if you've watched any of the other My Story videos, some of which are on here, some of which are on YouTube, or any of my other general ramblings, you have a little bit of an idea of what I've been through to get here, the struggle, and I guess like how much better it feels to be in this place than where I was, and how from this place I can now look back and see. I just watched a live training with Gabby Bernstein. If you know who she is, great. If not, it doesn't matter. Reminding that all obstacles can be opportunities. And that reminded me of where I'm at now and the journey that I was on, and even the difference in my mindset as close ago, like this whole little last year has been a blur. So in real time, in the beginning of 2019, and when I actually got like really sick, and that kind of accelerated healing journey that put me on, because before that point I was in such a victim mentality, which I didn't even realize at the time, of course. And I talk a little bit in the journal about victim mentality and the importance of giving up your victim mentality, which is very hard for your poor ego. I know I'm talking about a lot of different subjects at once here. They're all so intertwined. But just, oh man, back on my original tangent. Just the place that I was in where any obstacle that I encountered, I was seeing as, and at the time I even used the universe as against me, not really understanding this bigger picture of the universe, source, God, whatever you want to call it, infinite intelligence, collective consciousness, whatever your term is, or maybe you don't have a term, that's cool. But the true belief that the universe was against me, and in that belief, and in that also deep-rooted belief that I wasn't worthy of good things, basically, keep it simple, how I actually continue to manifest those things in my life, because I actually have a very, I guess, powerful ability to manifest things, which I'm trying to turn for better than worse. But I was so deeply rooted and so deeply believing in my, I guess, inabilities and my deservingness of not good things, that I was able to very quickly and very potently manifest those things, from, you know, being unhappy in a job, getting laid off after I bought a house, to the car accidents, to all the physical pain, to, like, you name it, been there. And realizing now how I was both manifesting those and how they were also points on my path that were considered obstacles, that looking back at it now were meant to, and sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. Again, it was depending on where I was with my beliefs in myself, not my beliefs like in general, but my belief in myself. How they were really moments that were meant to pivot me where I was way off course to my path, my purpose, and pivot me back into that. And that is part of the idea behind the inner being attunement, even the inner story healing, of looking at the things that you have in your life and looking at the beliefs that you have about yourself and looking at that story that you have, be it a recent story, be it one that you have from like childhood and have carried, whatever that is, and learning how to just make that minor shift. I've been talking a lot about love versus fear and those two different mindsets, and how, not to get into the whole polarity subject, but how one is from a positive and one is from a negative. I don't like those words, but you know. And how there's the duality and everything and all that kind of stuff. But that base choice that you have in this lifetime of whether you will be from a place of love, oneness, service to the highest and greatest good and all that, versus that more negative service to self, judgment and victimizing and trampling of others and all that kind of stuff. Fear option, where you're just seeing everything through that lens of fear of yourself, fear of others, fear of your greatness, fear of whatever. So the purpose of reconnecting with my inner being was and is, because it's part of my daily practice. Don't hold me to that. Obviously there's days where it's not. But some form of reconnecting with my inner being has really allowed me to calm and quiet those other voices that I hear in my head, the ego, basically the ego, but you know, all the different voices that it carries, the self-doubt, the fear, the keeping you small, keeping you in your comfort zone, just doing what it knows how to do. Again, not blaming the ego, not using it as a fallback, not victimizing ourselves through these thoughts, just recognizing, and again, with our mindset of this month, integrating those shadow aspects of self. So all those things that we don't love about ourselves, but knowing that they're there. So reconnecting and attuning with that inner being. And I'm considering that inner being, again, whatever your term is. It could be your inner voice, it could be your intuition, it could be what you call God or a higher power, it could be the universe, it could be the source, it could be, again, infinite intelligence, collective consciousness, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I don't say whatever you want to call it to be disrespectful. I just want to leave it up to your interpretation, because I know a lot of people are uncomfortable with a lot of different terms, so it's up to you. But I'm calling it my inner being, and that includes all of the lifetimes, all of the consciousness that I have inside of me, all of the rememberings that I have inside of me, all of my Akashic records, all of my infinite intelligence that's within me is part of my inner being. It includes my guides, it includes all the wisdom, it includes all the knowledge that I have within me. So as I connect with that inner being, I'm not, my purpose and my thought behind it is that I'm not, because as you know, I don't like to be in a box. I'm not like pigeonholing and boxing myself in on what that inner being wants to be on any given day, at any given moment. I allow that inner being to just flow freely through me, whether it's through the meditation, through journaling, through my morning gratitudes, through my walk, all the practices that I have to support myself. I let that inner being just be whatever it needs to be, whether it's those messages that I receive, whether it's just for me, whether it's for you, whether it's for us, whether it's from some sort of other intelligence that doesn't make sense in this time, whatever it is. I just allow that to be, and that is the purpose of the inner being attunement, is to allow you to, as I have, get in touch with whatever that inner being in you is, whether it is your instincts, so say it's your gut or your heart or another voice in your head that you know is true, whether it's guides helping you, whether you are in touch with some sort of star family or some sort of higher consciousness, whether you're in touch with other beings within your family, here or elsewhere, allowing you a safe and comfortable space to explore what that is, to learn how to get in touch with that, to create or learn your practices. And of course, those practices are always flowing and moving and changing, but just to learn what those practices are so that you can, again, recreate that safe space to connect with your inner being. So you can receive your messages, wisdom, guidance, however that is for you, because it can be different for everyone. That's pretty much it. I know this was probably like 20 minutes or more. But that's pretty much it. Your inner being attunement is just a way for you to learn to reconnect with yourself, to embrace all the abstract that this lifetime has to offer, how to bring that love and joy and beauty into all aspects of your life, so you are always living and looking through that lens of love, regardless of what obstacles, mistakes, or whatever come up in your path. Just being able to look at them through that different lens and being able to slowly, because it's a practice, remove and get rid of that fear that is constantly holding us back, making us small, keeping us upset, depressed, anxious, all of those awful feelings, that stress-induced trauma that I had. Realizing all of those things were part of that fear and part of that disconnection from my inner being, and just how important reconnecting has been for me and how important I know it can be for you. So, if that is something that interests you, if anything that I've said has sparked anything within you, you're welcome to DM, email, comment, whatever. You can email me, you can look up on the website, the link's in the bio, about more details on what the inner being attunement is, or even your inner story healing. I'm here for you. That's my purpose, that's my passion, and I can't wait to see you the next time. Have a lovely day.